At the grassroots level, we have people who have papers as coaches. They have brilliant ideas. They are very willing to help kids or develop kids to become good professional footballers. But there's always that one thing that stays in between them creating good footballers and them not doing a very good job as coaches. And this is communication. Today I want us to look at communication in football coaching. What is communication? Communication is a process of sharing information, instructions, ideas, feelings, and feedback between people. And in football, communication takes place between coach and players, amongst players and the coaching staff and other team personnel. So a coach ana-communicate na players kwa training, even during match days. Players wakiwa kwa uwanja, they communicate amongst themselves on trying to come up with real-time solutions pale kwa uwanja. Then coaching staff can communicate to other personnel, maybe an assistant coach, to a team doctor, maybe to the media people, and such kind of things. Effective communication helps a coach to, first of all, to explain tactics. Secondly, to organize training sessions, to motivate players, correct mistakes, build relationships, and improve on the performance. So today we are playing 4-2-3-1, or which kind of formations. You need to communicate effectively in a way that these players can understand what the tactic is, what their roles are, how do they behave in matches. So if you can't put the ideas in a very simple and straightforward way, then whatever you are trying to coach or trying to achieve won't be achieved in a good way. Organizing training sessions, you tell them from here you'll do warm-up, you'll do this, there you will practice how to shoot and things like that. Motivating players, if somebody does a good thing, encourage them, motivate them, help them learn whatever they are not doing well, not just criticizing. Correcting mistakes, there's a way you can communicate, even a player will understand, I did this, which is a mistake, and this is the right way to do, rather than hurling insults and complaining too much. Building relationships. When players communicate amongst themselves, they get to learn the characters of the other player. They'll understand the challenges. They'll create friendships, and you'll be building stronger relationships. As a coach, also, you need to build relationships with your players, even the coaching staff. So that way, you find you've come up with a team that operates as a good team. Then to improve team performance. So how you communicate will make the players either play in a good way or maybe sabotage you. We've seen that commonly. This communication has the channels or the methods you can use when doing in football. So first of all, there is verbal communication. I'm a coach, I'm giving instructions directly, verbally. Sound inatoka nikisema, hey, toka hapo, enda pale, rudi hivi, piga pass hapa. That way. We have non-verbal communication, where I'm using signs. Maybe I can call out defender if I don't want the opponents to understand what I'm saying. I say we are playing forward the back. I use signs. We have written communication. In trainings, we have training plans. We can have team rules. We can have tactical diagrams. We can have player reports. You can have notices and instructions. So that is also a form of communication. So if I prepare a training plan, if I'm to communicate between, say tomorrow I'm not attending training and I need them to do such and such a thing, if I prepare a training plan and give it to my assistant, then I would have communicated what I want to be done that day. Team rules, you can prepare team rules and hang them somewhere so that everybody, maybe in the locker room, so everybody coming, they can read those rules I'll have communicated. It will remind them daily, this is what we need to do as players when we are playing for this team, this is how we need to behave. We have visual communication. Visual communication includes tactical boards, pitch diagrams, demonstrations, video of matches, cones and markers to show positions, things like that in training. For example, if I want to show them we are playing this kind of system in a faster way, I can arrange the players on my tactical board and show them this is how we'll play in defending. We do this way. When we're attacking, we do this way. When we create overloads here, I move the players on my tactical board. The fifth mode of communication is the digital or electronic communication, where we record our matches. So we do video analysis. We can do online Zoom meetings. For example, when we are on a break, we can do digital training schedules, presentation softwares. We have so many that we can use. Maybe there's this common one, I've forgotten the name. The structure of communication in football coaching. So we need to use a certain structure to communicate. And normally, if you've sat in a communications class, there's always that structure where the communication goes around from the sender all the way in Baka. It comes back to whoever sent that message in form of feedback. So let's just break that one down. For communication to be effective, it should allow a clear structure. And the clear structure, at the top of it, we have the sender. So the sender can be, say, the head coach, the assistant coach, the captain, the player, the fitness coach, or the goalkeeper coach. So in this instance, say, I'm the head coach. Now this head coach, I have a message that I want communicated. So say, today I will not be in training. I need them to do something. So I will do a training plan that will have that message of what we are going to do. So we have a method or channel of communication, the third thing in that structure. So the first one is the sender, the second one is the message, the third one is the method of communication. And pale kwa methods, we looked at how I want this message to be passed. So I can speak spoken instructions, I can do demonstrations, I can do tactical board written messages. So this time around, since I have as the head coach, I'm the sender, I have a message of what I want them to train today. The method I'll choose, or the channel, I'll do a tactical diagram of what I want them to do. And the receiver of that message will be my assistant coach. So the fourth element in that structure is the receiver. So we have the sender, the message, the channel, and then the receiver. The receiver is the person receiving the message. Maybe in my case is the assistant coach. They've received a training plan or to what we want to do that day. So atapanga kiwanja hizo vitu zote, then training happen depending on what I've indicated on my training plan. Then the next phase in that structure is the feedback. So the feedback, this shows whether the receiver understood the message. So for example, if I come back from where I was and the assistant coach tells me, from the training plan we did, maybe we were doing shooting to score, we are shooting to score, and then the whole process in that training our striker managed to score maybe 100 goals. So the feedback the assistant coach gives will tell me if the message was understood, if the message was proper, if it was clear, and things like that. So if I don't have the feedback, then I should be worried. But if I have feedback, then I'll analyze, was it positive, was it negative? If it was negative, what was difficult, or what made that training not 100% proper? So I can handle things like that. Then in this structure, from the sender, the message, the channel, the receiver, and the feedback, we have things that we call barriers or noises. This is the disruption. Maybe during the training we had, from the feedback we got, we were not successful, say 100%, because maybe we had a crowd that was making noise. We had the language was not being understood. There was a poor choice of words, emotional tensions, fear of the coach, physical distance, conflicting. Maybe these strikers wanted the coach to be there so that they perform very well in training, or things like that. So there are things that we need to consider. What is the importance of communication in football coaching? First of all, it improves understanding. When you communicate well, you improve understanding. It improves teamwork. It improves performance, provides effective feedback. Coaches will identify mistakes and explain how players can improve. Good feedback should be, now, when you've communicated and the exercise that you are trying to do is done and achieved, if you get good feedback or bad feedback. So good feedback should be, one, specific, constructive, timely, understandable, focus on improvement. So should be specific. You want them to score the goal. Teach that. Don't go around from defending. You are teaching scoring. If they did it well, that is specific. That specific thing they were doing, you wanted to achieve, deal with that one. It should be constructive. Don't tell them, oh, you missed 2 chances and scored. Don't focus on the negatives. The positives going forward. It should be timely. In coaching, we have a situation where people can be playing an end game, then somebody does a mistake. You make sure you stop the game at that moment, tell them the mistake and how they can correct. Don't wait in tomorrow's session, then you start addressing yesterday's things that happened during a friendly. Don't improve. You focus on improvement. Another importance is it motivates players, builds trust and relationships, helps tactical decision making, promotes discipline, and prevents conflict. So if you are communicating effectively and communicating very well, your communication you should always endeavor to achieve a communication that motivates the players. They build trust and relationship. The players should be able to trust you. Even as a player, your communication should be well, so that the coach should build trust with you, should help tactical decision making, promote discipline, and prevent conflicts. But in the same time, during this communication, we can have the negative effects of ineffective communication. Sometimes when your communication is not effective enough, it has some negatives attached to it. Some of them will include misunderstanding of instructions. Unaweza peana instructions zingine mtu anashangaa coach anataka tucheze aje. So you find mostly maybe during matches you are under pressure, you are giving instructions haphazardly, players are confused. So if you don't communicate effectively, that is one of the negative effects. When you communicate the tactics wrongly, you affect the team performance. So the team performance will be poor. You will increase mistakes. There will be loss of motivation because maybe you lose that match. Conflict between players and coaches. You'll find some coaches who say players who say the coach did not understand what he was doing, such kind of things. You reduce team cohesion. Fear and anxiety will increase. Poor player development. If you are a coach like me who is at the grassroots level, if your communication is not good, then the players will not understand what you are trying to coach. So it means the 13-year-olds, the 12-year-olds, the 14-year-olds, their development will not be as per what is expected for a developing player. Tactical confusion during matches, what I've just said earlier on. You give haphazard information, so you go there, come here, do what. The tactical confusion now becomes evident. Then loss of respect for the coach. If you are a coach, you might have the best ideas, but if you don't know how to communicate those ideas to your players, then the players will think most of the things you are doing is guesswork, and there'll be no respect kabisa. Let us now look at the characteristics of effective football coaching communication. Effective football communication. How is it supposed to be? Number one, it should be clear. So you should use a clear language that players understand. So for example, if you are kule mashinani like me, I can't use, rarely do I use English. So you use Swahili. Worst comes to us, use the local language which they can understand, but you also improve on the more of like the national language. Just see how you can improve on that. So it should be clear. It should be concise. You should avoid too much information. If they are to do a pass, don't use too many things to explain that simple thing. So it should be concise. It should be specific. Explain exactly what is to be done. Don't beat around the bush and use so many stories. It should be positive. It should be consistent. So today, don't tell people you should head the ball this way. Tomorrow you give another way. The other day you give no. This is the right way. Use this way. Don't allow these other things to come in between. Then it should be timely. Give info at the point of the moment. A mistake is done right now. Don't address it tomorrow. Address it right now and show the proper way of doing it. This communication should be respectful. Don't insult people anyhow. Understand this person, the status in the team, for example, the captain, the old ones, and also don't bring favorism in that in whatever you are trying to communicate. It should be respectful. It should be two-way. Don't just communicate and deny them feedback, because when you get feedback, you'll know if the communication was effective or not. The communication should be adaptable. Consider age, experience, language, and personality of the players. So you cannot address a 13-year-old as if he's a 21-year-old, or a 21-year-old as if he's a 7-year-old. So you should adapt to the age and the way you communicate to them. Observant. Pay attention to players' verbal and nonverbal responses. You can say something to a player, hajakujibu verbally, but the way I may behave in terms of facial expression, body language, that is now the nonverbal communication. So if you are not observant, you'll miss that point. So you'll be saying things, but your players are not like listening to you and things like that. So in conclusion, communication is a very fundamental part of effective football coaching. And therefore, a successful football coach must not only know the game, but also know how to communicate that knowledge effectively, so that you create teams that players that understand what they are doing. So the way you communicate will determine whether you are a good coach, or I don't want to say a bad coach, but an average coach.